As the summer of 1940 dawned, Europe was shrouded in darkness. France had fallen, and Britain stood alone, an island fortress braced against an incoming storm. From across the Channel, the German Luftwaffe was preparing for Operation Sea Lion, a full-scale invasion of the British Isles. The world held its breath. It seemed nothing could stop Hitler's war machine. Nothing, that is, except a single elegant fighter aircraft, the Supermarine Spitfire. But in the halls of power, many scoffed. This new plane was delicate, they argued. It was expensive and had never been tested in the crucible of large-scale combat. Some politicians even dismissed it as a toy built for speed, not for war. It was a beautiful design, yes, but could beauty stand against brute force? They were about to find out. When the first waves of German bombers crossed the English Channel, that toy became the last hope of a nation on the brink. Imagine the scene. A young pilot, barely out of his teens, scrambling to his cockpit. The air raid siren wails, a sound that has become the grim soundtrack of daily life. He straps himself in, the scent of oil and high-octane fuel filling the air. With a deafening roar, the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine coughs to life, a symphony of 12 cylinders ready to unleash hell. This wasn't just an engine. It was the heart of the beast, a marvel of engineering that could propel the Spitfire to over 370 miles per hour. As he takes off, he's not just a pilot anymore. He's part of the machine, a knight of the modern age charging into the sky. The Spitfire's real genius lay in its elliptical wings. They weren't just for looks. This revolutionary design gave it incredible maneuverability and a climb rate that left the formidable German Messerschmitt Bf 109 struggling to keep up. In the cockpit, the pilot felt an almost telepathic connection. The plane responded to the slightest touch, becoming an extension of his own will. And when the enemy was in his sights, its 8 Browning machine guns would unleash a torrent of fire, a staggering 10 rounds per second, tearing through the air like a buzzsaw. On August 15, 1940, the sky over Britain turned black. In the largest air raid in history, 1,800 German aircraft swarmed across the Channel. This was it, the Luftwaffe's knockout blow. Leading his squadron into the fray was a man who embodied the spirit of defiance, Douglas Bader. Years earlier, he had lost both of his legs in a flying accident. The Royal Air Force told him he would never fly again. He proved them all wrong. Now at the head of his pilots, his voice crackled over the radio, a calm command in the heart of the storm. "Close up, boys. Let's give them hell." What followed was a spectacle of chaos and courage that would be etched into legend. The sky became a dizzying 3-dimensional battlefield, a swirling vortex of smoke trails, tracer fire, and exploding aircraft. German pilots, confident in their numbers and experience, were completely stunned by the Spitfire's agility. It could roll, dive, and climb like a phantom, appearing from nowhere, striking with deadly precision, and vanishing just as quickly. They had never faced anything like it. Even Germany's top air ace Adolf Galland was forced to admit its superiority. After a grueling dogfight, he was asked what his squadrons needed to defeat the RAF. His answer was simple and shocking. "I should like a squadron of Spitfires." He knew that his own men were being outflown by a superior machine. The tide was turning, not because of numbers, but because of design, skill, and sheer grit. By October, the cost for the Luftwaffe was catastrophic. They had lost nearly 1,900 aircraft and thousands of their best aircrew. Britain, though battered and bleeding, had held the line. The invasion was called off. The Spitfire had done more than just win a series of aerial battles. It had saved the nation from conquest and kept the flame of democracy alive in its darkest hour. But the story of this incredible aircraft was far from over. The war was an arms race. And by 1942, a new threat had emerged. The Focke-Wulf 190. It was a German fighter so advanced, so deadly, that it quickly gained a fearsome reputation as the butcher bird. For a time it seemed unbeatable, and Allied pilots were once again on the back foot. The Spitfire needed to evolve. And evolve it did. The answer came in the form of the Spitfire Mark 9. This wasn't just a minor upgrade. It was a radical transformation. It was armed with powerful 20mm cannons that could shred an enemy plane with a single burst, and it was powered by the new supercharged Merlin 61 engine. This Spitfire could not only match the Focke-Wulf 190, but it could outclimb and outturn it at high altitudes. The king was back on its throne. One of the RAF's top aces, Johnny Johnson, described his first encounter with the RW-190 while flying the new Mark 9. "We were equal for a moment," he recalled. "Then the Spitfire climbed, and I watched him fall away, smoking." Across the skies of occupied Europe, the balance of power had shifted once more. The Spitfire had become a symbol of defiance, of relentless innovation, and of the unyielding spirit of freedom. Over 22,000 Spitfires were built throughout the war, a staggering number. They served in every major theater of conflict, from the blistering deserts of North Africa to the humid jungles of Burma. Each one was a masterpiece of precision engineering, but to the men who flew them, they were something more. They were companions, trusted partners in the loneliest place on earth, the sky. One pilot captured this unique bond in his diary, writing, "When you touched her controls, she answered like she knew your heart." Looking back, historians often note that the Spitfire wasn't necessarily the fastest fighter of the war, nor the most heavily armed, but it was undeniably the right plane, at the right time, for the right people. Its graceful elliptical wings became an icon of hope against the shadow of tyranny. It was living proof that courage, ingenuity, and a touch of elegance could triumph over overwhelming force. By the end of World War II, the Spitfire had secured its place in history, credited with shooting down over 7,000 enemy aircraft. As the world moved into the jet age, the era of the propeller fighter came to a close. But that unforgettable silhouette, those beautiful wings, remain etched in our collective memory. They remind us that sometimes in the face of impossible odds, a thing of beauty can be the very thing that saves the world. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most fascinating moments. See you next time.